Welcome to the Conversation in Colons podcast. I'm your host, Damien, my co-host, Jared.
Heyo.
And
What's
a
up?
little bit of a slow week. Not really much is going on. In the slow pace that 2021 is going at right now. Video game wise, right? But we do have some things to talk about. First one, last night on Wednesday, the 31st.
It's Wednesday, my dudes.
Kong versus Godzilla came out, and it was fucking dope. Now, if you are wanting to go into Godzilla versus Kong and you're wanting that like love story between characters, you want really in-depth like hidden references and I think the director's going for this. You're not going to get that. You're watching two gigantic monsters fighting it out in Hong Kong in different areas of the world,
fucking smelting each other,
absolutely killing millions of people while you're sitting there having the time of your life watching them bash each other in with fucking buildings, swords, axes, fucking everything. Kind of crazy. Jared did not see the movie yet, so he'll have to cover his ears when I go through spoilers. But I thought it was really good. I went into it not expecting it to be like I always had this weird like thought. So the first Godzilla movie I ever saw was the one from 2004 where she like lays her eggs in the city. If you remember, the cover of that movie was just Godzilla's eye. Okay. And I hate that movie with a burning passion. I think it's so slow. I hate how they hide Godzilla in the dark, how you don't really see Godzilla like in its full capacity. And so that's always made me think differently about all the Godzilla movies, even though they're not all like that. And so I never watched Godzilla King of Monsters, but my mom has. She says it's really good. I just haven't watched it yet. I did see Kong Skull Island, and I thought it was okay.
Is that one with Jack Black?
That's Peter Jackson's King Kong. Kong Skull Island has Tom Hiddleston in it.
Really?
I believe so, yeah. So I saw that one. It was all right. Like, I thought for what it was pretty cool. It was nothing. I don't think I've seen it since it came out like on demand. I've seen it like once. Big monster movies aren't really my thing. And then when I saw this was coming out, I already had HBO Max, and I was like, you know what? I'll give the time of day. It's only 2 hours. We'll see how it goes. And it was fucking awesome. The characters are boring as fuck. The plot when you're with certain characters does slow down, but every moment Kong or Godzilla is on the screen, it is fantastic. The CGI looks really good. The choreography between those two is really good. How they make Kong able to fight Godzilla is really cool. And I won't spoil that. We'll do a no spoiler probably till next week, so Jared can watch it. But a lot of the things they incorporated, which they showed in the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler, but there's like a little girl in the movie that can do sign language and like talk to Kong. So there is some like heartwarming moments with Kong.
Hey, just go ahead and say spoilers because there's a good chance I'm never going to see this movie.
Okay, so basically the way this works is like the Earth, right? You have the Earth, and then inside you have Hollow Earth. And that's where all these giant monsters come from, okay? So what happens is they try you. Oh, spoiler alert, by the way. They use Kong to get into Hollow Earth so they can get this like power source, okay, that gives Godzilla's powers and everything like that, right? Because the humans are building Mecha Godzilla, which is Godzilla as a mech, like more powerful. Okay, it's pretty cool. So, anyways, Godzilla and King Kong fight. They eventually get to Hollow Earth, and Kong gets like this axe from his ancestors. That's like just like it would tear Godzilla to shreds, right? It can withhold Godzilla's mouth blast. He can block with it. So what happens is the way those things work, so they're trying to be like the king of Earth, right? So they can sense each other. So when like Kong gets off Kong Island and he's being transported to they're going to Antarctica, like Godzilla senses where that motherfucker's at. And so they're fighting like in the middle of the ocean because Godzilla comes and attacks his bitch ass. Anyways, Godzilla can sense Mech Godzilla being built in Hong Kong. So he goes ahead and goes over there. And when Kong gets to like this giant powerful source, Godzilla senses it and he beams the ground all the way into Hollow Earth, okay? And then roars so Kong can hear it. And then Kong gets his fucking axe and he jumps up there and they just start battling it out. It was kind of fucking crazy. The CGI was really well done. There was a lot of beautiful shots. Eventually Godzilla gets like the upper hand on Kong and basically almost kills Kong. And then Mecha Godzilla comes out and is absolutely fucking Godzilla's ass, okay? And so the humans are like, well, we have to revive Kong so that he can help Godzilla. And they do like a jet propulsion blast to his chest because he's like almost dying after fighting Godzilla. King Kong wakes up and he looks at the little girl who can do sign language and talk to him. And so she does like sign language. She's like, Godzilla is not the enemy. The Mecha Godzilla is the enemy. And he just kind of does this big sigh and he goes, okay. And he gets up and Godzilla and King Kong together defeat Mecha Godzilla. And then they both kind of look at each other at the end, nod their heads, and Godzilla goes off and King Kong goes off. The end. Yep. It sounds ridiculous because it is. You need to see
I
it.
am so happy that I'm gonna make the decision to not watch
No,
this
you need to
movie.
watch it like with your dad or something like that. The movie's actually really fun. I know it doesn't sound interesting, but it really is. I explained it kind of poorly because there's so many different things that go into all those pieces, but it's really dope. So that's my
So it sounds like they waste an entire movie fighting just to team up at the end.
well, yeah, they don't know Mecha Godzilla is happening. It's all natural instinct, right? Godzilla wants to be the god, right? He wants to be the monster, and then he senses Kong. Kong's like, well, no, I'm the monster. Like I'm the monster Earth, and Godzilla's like, no, you're not, bitch. So they fight. Yeah. Entertainment level, it's like an 8 out of 10. I was fucking having a great time in the final battle. It was fucking great. Story wise and everything like that, it's not great. But like I said, I'm not here to watch. I don't care about the humans in this. I watch millions of people die on my screen because of Godzilla and Kong stepping on buildings. That's the shit I want to watch. I want to watch the two monsters fighting. I could care less about the humans, to be honest with you.
That's fair.
So yeah, so it's on HBO Max, $15 per month. Go watch it. Worth it. It's worth the 2 hours that I spent watching with my mom. My mom even enjoyed it. She hates those kind of movies. She was rooting for King Kong.
Well, who wouldn't?
It was hard not to root for King Kong. But yeah,
King Kong the boy.
King Kong is the boy. So then finally, we have Falcon and Winter Soldier. Now last week we didn't review episode 2, and the week before that we didn't review episode 1. I think it's time we catch up, and we'll actually start reviewing them every week. So tonight for us, episode 3 comes out, so we'll be reviewing that next week. So we'll always kind of be like a week behind.
Mm-hmm.
So Jared, so far, episode 1 and 2, thoughts?
Good. Good show.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Why?
well, I was really worried at first that it was gonna suck some ass in terms of post Endgame MCU. I just thought wasn't gonna be good. So with this
Right.
show, I was excited because I like the Falcon and I like the Winter Soldier, but I wasn't excited that it was gonna be like on the edge of my seat, like, oh my god, here comes
Right.
more MCU stuff.
Spoiler alert, by the way.
Okay. But after what we got with WandaVision, there it is. after what we got with that, I have a lot more faith in the show now. And so after seeing the first two episodes, and my excitement for the characters is now excitement for what they're going to do with the characters. It wasn't just, it isn't no longer, it's no longer just seeing them. It's about seeing what they're going to become and what they're going to do. And after these first two, I really like where it's going. I really like the whole teaming up, even though they weren't really going to at first. I like the backstory we got with Bucky a lot. I really like that we're exploring more his past, and I hope that we get a lot more details about him. The Falcon backstory is really interesting because he obviously blipped, and I know that Bucky did too, but like they're not talking about that, but they talked about, or they kind of went in depth with the Falcons blipping, or I don't know. They call it the blip in canon, so I guess it's weird to say that. I like to call it the snap, but the blip.
Yeah, the snapping.
And it's interesting because the snapping, yeah, it's interesting because like one of the characters, his sister is like talking about how she made it without him while he was gone, but like it's interesting because on one hand, in her shoes, I get why she's holding that over him, but on the other hand, like I don't think it's fair for anyone, I guess, in this canon or in the MCU to use that against someone because they didn't have a fucking choice if they were blipped. They didn't have a choice that he snapped his fingers. I mean, technically, yes, they were in the fight, and yeah, they could have maybe stopped it, blah blah blah. But like, that's not the point. Like, they didn't know that if Thanos snapped his fingers, Falcon was going to be the one gone. So like, her using that kind of made me go, oh, I don't know if I like the way that they're portraying the snap. But at the same time, I'm glad that it's still like it majorly affected the world, which we saw in Endgame, and we saw um a little bit. I mean, like a little bit in WandaVision, and now we're seeing again here. I definitely like the fact that at the end of episode 2, they brought up Zemo. Spoiler alert: Zemo, from the Civil War,
War.
Captain America, yeah, Civil War. And I'm really, really excited to see what they do with that because I'm hoping it's going to be some kind of minor team up, and if it isn't like interrogation, it's cool, whatever. But I'm excited to see his character. Spoiler alert: the new Captain America, John something,
Yep.
or in whatever his name, John something. I can't remember the full name, but it's interesting because I've seen a lot of people talk about this online, and they were all like, "Oh, new Captain America, you know what? He's not too bad. Like I really like him. Like it's really good." And then like somewhere in the end of episode 2, he was like, "If you're not going to be on my side, then you two need to stay out of my way." And it was like, "Oh, like you had me until then." Like he was really building on me. Like liked the story. Like him training to become Captain America. Like he wants to do good by the people, and like him like throwing the shield and training, like all that cool montage stuff. And I was like, "Oh, okay. Like he actually cares." Like when he comes to aid Bucky and Sam. Sam Falcon, whatever. Later, and I think it was the second episode when they got in the fight.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And when they come to aid them, I was like, oh, okay. Like I literally went, okay, this could be interesting, and it was pretty interesting. Obviously, the comic like value of Bucky and Sam not wanting to talk to them at all, like when they lost the battle and they're like retreating or falling back or whatever, and the Captain America and his friend are in the car, and then or Captain America, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier are walking. Obviously there's funny parts, and I'm like, oh, we don't want to talk to you, we don't like you, blah blah blah. But it was interesting because I was hoping they'd eventually warm up to them, work with them and stuff. But it's like they're completely like separate ways, and I think it's going to turn into the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What I think is going to turn into is going to be the people who we think are bad guys are going to end up being like a middle ground, just neutral people, and it's going to be Winter Soldier and Falcon fighting new Captain America, maybe with the help of Zemo. Obviously, we saw in the trailers the one chick, the ex Shield agent FBI chick that I can't remember the name of, who's Peggy Carter's like niece or something. Hopefully, she gets involved more. I'm really hoping to see a big role from her. I don't if we don't get a big one, whatever, but I'm hoping to see one. But so far, it has pulled me in more than I thought. All in all, what are your thoughts, Damien?
I think it's really good. It was like you, it was one of the shows like out of the 3 that they announced that were coming out this year, Loki, Winter Soldier, and WandaVision. Like I definitely was not highly keen on this one, just because like WandaVision had a really cool aspect. Like WandaVision's still the best show, but the first episode, like after WandaVision, just kind of threw me for a loop because like we were going back to like a normal MCU kind of style. And I
Yeah.
know Loki will be super different as well. And so this is like what we're used to, and so it was kind of off-putting because we haven't had like a normal MCU kind of style since before Infinity War, right? So it's been a few years. So like you were talking about, their backstory is really cool. I'm really happy they're like giving Bucky more depth and character because right now or previously like he was just kind of after Winter Soldier and Civil War, he was just kind of bland and he was just there. And I mean, obviously he was in Wakanda for a bit, but they didn't really give him a lot. And even in Infinity War and Endgame, like he really didn't have that much going on. So
Hmm.
I'm happy that they're going into it and going back like, oh, he still has PTSD. One of the things that I really liked was, in the first episode, he's with this Chinese guy and he's like helping him out, going to the bar and everything. And then you realize that he's doing that because he killed his son and the guy doesn't know. And obviously, like Bucky was under a trance at that point, but like he has to live with, I killed your son and your son was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. So I really like that. Sam, I think right now is the weaker of the two, like in general. Like they're really focusing on Bucky, which I'm happy about because Sam's had his spotlight. So I'm happy that like Sam is kind of like he's not like the B character, but he's like side B, like side A, side B.
Hmm.
Um, so I really like what they're doing with Bucky. The action scenes are pretty good. The I guess villains that they're setting up, their motives are pretty good. Like they want to go back to the times before the blip because of I'm sure during
No,
that time.
during the blip.
Well, yeah, sorry, during the blip.
Yeah.
Because all these people who are coming back from the blip are getting special advantages. They're being focused more on stuff because they have to be caught back up, right? Your social security has to be fixed, so the government's focusing on them and not the people that were stuck during that time, right? So that's a good motivation, and I can see it working out. Like you, I do think what is happening is Zemo is somehow controlling all of this eventually, and he's the reason why maybe this revolution starts with this group, like because they all have the soldier serum, um, and I think fake Captain America will turn out to be the bad guy. I always, as soon as I saw him, I kind of got that feeling because it'd be a really interesting twist, because they really focused on him being a good guy and being from a small town, and he's this American hero, and then now he's Captain America, and like he's trying to be buddy buddy. That threw me off like immediately. It just kind of got to me. So I think over these next 3 episodes, because there's only 3 episodes. Well, after tonight,
Or
after tonight, 3 episodes left because there's 6 episodes. Uh, I think he'll slowly start to turn into the main bad guy, and the group that they're fighting right now are gonna be like just kind of side, or maybe eventually will help out Bucky and Winter Soldier. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I think it's really good. It has some rough spots. It's slow at some points, but it's very good, and it's definitely worth the watch. They're about 40 minutes, so you know, hour 30 minutes after tonight's episode. It's worth the watch. If you had to pick between WandaVision and Winter Soldier, you would choose WandaVision. But
so far.
if you're gonna watch WandaVision, just watch Winter Soldier. And Falcon. A weird name. So it's really good. Well, I'm excited for tonight's episode. I'll be staying up and watching it. And what's nice about this is like it's only 6 episodes, so there's not much drag time from tonight's episode and out. They have to get the ball rolling. Um, so we will see. We'll obviously review next week's episode. We didn't talk about it last time because so 2 weeks ago we didn't have a podcast because like the audio corrupted out and everything. We announced at the end of that podcast that we are going to be re-ranking all the Marvel movies. And we didn't
Yeah.
we didn't talk about it last week. So what me and Jared are doing is every week we are watching 2 Marvel movies. And as we're going through, we're ranking them. So the movie we're about to watch probably tomorrow is Thor. and then it's Avengers after that. So we're going through.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Avengers after that. Yeah.
Are we not watching the Hulk or anything? Because they decanonized that, so we're not going to try to watch.
Yeah, we don't need to watch that then.
Okay.
So yeah, we've watched Captain America, Captain Marvel, Iron Man 1 and 2. Those are the four. So Thor's next.
The goal.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the goal is to watch 2, if not 2, 1, because sometimes plans come up, like things happen. But we're watching for sure 1. Like ideally, we try to get a second one in. And it's funny because like it turned like I was just gonna have random movie nights. Like I just wanted to do them Fridays because I do D&D, and then after D&D I've got nothing. So I was like, yeah, fuck, I'm just gonna do a movie night. Whoever wants to stop by, let's do it. And the first night I was like, I'm watching Captain America. I might watch all the MCU in order. We're gonna see, but I just want to watch Captain America. Sat down, started it. Damien popped in maybe 25, 45 minutes in. It was somewhere in that range. And I'm like, oh, looks like it's only you. Because I invited we've got like probably 16 people in our Discord. I mean, not maybe exactly 16, but like 15, 12, I don't know, some amount. I invited everyone in, and a couple of people liked it, and they're like, oh yeah, cool. And then just Damien popped in. So it was like, well, we're watching the MCU. We might as well turn this into podcast material. And that's kind of where it just stemmed from, was like, just from little tiny thing to here we are, re-rank. Yay.
Yep. So it goes back to our first ever episode, which isn't on YouTube. It's on SoundCloud because I didn't upload them to YouTube.
Yeah.
But we spent like 3 hours ranking all those movies. So
it was right after watching Endgame, I believe, too.
Yes. So
we just seen it.
What's happening? Obviously, 2 a week. So it's quite a ways away. Like it's still about a month and a half away, 2 months.
Yeah. Ideally.
Right. So, but that is something we're working on the pipeline. And so, yeah, as we're watching them, we're both going through ranking them from what we've watched. And it's been pretty interesting because a lot of movies, well, 2 movies that we watched, which was Iron Man, Iron Man 2, I didn't remember having that much fun watching them, and then watching them again, I forgot how good those movies were. So it'll be interesting because there's a lot of MCU movies I just haven't watched. I mean, Iron Man 1 I haven't watched in 5 years, until we watched it 2 weeks ago or a week ago. So it'll definitely be interesting. And we got Black Widow later this year and Spider-Man later this year, so we'll be able to add those in as well. Kind of do re-ranks as we go. But
that's right. We have to figure out a way to watch the Spider-Man. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I have them both on digital.
Spider-Man's, man.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching those ones.
I want to see the first one. I have not seen the first one in full.
All right, you're not missing much.
I've been told.
But yeah, so that's coming down the pipeline. Last week we had a little bit of gun talk at the end. From the 4 people that told me they actually really enjoyed that. So we'll maybe talk about that more further on. Shout out to Chad, talked to me about it. And yeah, that's really all we have this week. So
no, that's not all we have this week.
What do you
fucking
mean?
Liar? I finally beat Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, okay, yeah. Man, you're just 3 months late.
Yeah, just a little late. I said I would beat it.
Oh.
I was expecting to do it a lot sooner than I did.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I've talked about it on here. I can't remember, but I'll reestablish why it took so long. I really enjoyed certain parts of that story, and I really enjoyed certain side missions and gigs and stuff. But the main story just was very, very hard time picking up on it, liking it. It seemed really quick, even though I know it probably took me total probably a month in the amount of days I played it to play. I'm sorry, to beat it, I should say. But it really just felt quicker than what I wanted. The main story, or at least what I was expecting, the main story only felt maybe 3 dozen missions, which I was expecting a lot more than that.
It's about 21 hours.
20? Really? That's it? I don't know. But I mean, I know a lot of people, if you rush through it, obviously it would have gone a lot quicker. But for me, because I did certain side missions, I feel like it enhanced the certain story missions, so it felt better anyway, and all that stuff. But yeah, only certain parts of it, like the Aldecaldos, all the stuff that took place with them, I loved all that part. There were certain missions in Pacifica and around that time that you had to do for Johnny that I kind of enjoyed. But after that, like a lot of it was just like dull. And I got to a point where I was doing side missions. I was like, oh, let's just do the next main mission. And it said, oh, yeah, you do this. Like, there's no point of no return. And I was like, I don't know what to do because like I didn't want to do any side missions. I wanted to get more, but I didn't know how to progress and get more side missions because the ones I was at were like the very, very hard, like very hard difficulty. So I was gonna struggle to do them. And so I just stopped for a while and I loaded it back up. I did like 2 or 3 side missions that were hard, barely got them done, and decided, fuck it, let's just do it. And I did. And it took me, I mean, I did it in one day. I got home from work and I had it done after dinner, like so maybe 4 hours. It did. I mean, I took my time because I paused a couple of times to actually eat, like took a shower and stuff, and I was like, oh, I'll have it the rest of the night. And then I was done like 25 minutes, 30 minutes later. Didn't realize it. Um, Ending was a lot better than I expected, and obviously there were different endings. The ending I got um made me think that the game was worthwhile, made me think that the whole playthrough was worth it. Everything I did was worth it. But I know that there are other endings I went and watched that would have made me think I wasted my fucking time. So I'm really happy I got the ending I did. Otherwise, definitely would not have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
All in all, my new ranking for Cyberpunk 2077 is definitely going to be a solid like 5 out of 10. They definitely need to improve upon it. What it is now deserves a 5. If they had more time to develop it properly and make sure, first of all, the bugs much better from when I first started playing it. They weren't. It was not nearly as bad. I had a lot of T posing and I had a lot of Pan Am getting stuck, just not moving in the world, and then therefore making my vehicle stuck, which was annoying. Other than that, it wasn't too bad. But I think a little bit more time, maybe another 6 months to a year, probably would have bumped this up to like from where I'm at now, an easy 8 or higher. But go ahead and say what you're gonna say.
So I mean, I still stand behind that it was definitely the best game last year. And we gave it Game of the Year. I had the benefit of the doubt when I played it. I didn't have really any bugs at all.
Yeah, lucky fuck.
The only thing I ever had was like 2 or 3 times I got in my car and it shot up in the air like 10 feet and came back down. That was it. So I got to experience what I think everyone should have gotten to experience. I didn't
agree.
have any. The only issue I had with the game was how hot it made my system.
Yeah.
And so what I'll say is this, because it has a lot of bad publicity right now. I feel right now it's at a good enough state where if you can get it for $30, you should play it.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I wouldn't pay 60. I would say max 40.
I don't know. It just depends. You're also getting free DLC sometime this year. But what I'll say is this. Like, game-wise, if we take bugs out, I feel like the game's a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, oh yeah. If you take the bugs out, I'd say it could even go higher than an 8. Absolutely.
And what I will say is, yes, the main story is smaller than like The Witcher, but they give you more side missions that mean more. So yes, it's shorter in scale, but you have more meaningful side missions. Now that we can talk about it, there's a whole side mission that most people don't even know about, where like you can get Johnny's Porsche, you can get Johnny's jacket, his gun. When I was playing the game, when Jared, that one that me and you were playing, and I was towards the end of the game, that was the mission I was freaking out about because I got his Porsche and it was like the fastest thing in the game. I got his gun, I got his jacket, I got his glasses, his boots, his jeans, like everything about Johnny. And it was all because of I did this huge long side mission brand.
Like string.
And then you had all the stuff with Judy, which I think is probably some of the best stuff in the game. And then everything with Pan Am is just 10 out of 10.
Oh.
So I do think $60 is a stretch. I do think it's worth playing for $60 if you're not gonna have a buggy time.
Oh, absolutely. I could agree with that.
Now it's funny that I completely forgot. So they did announce a few days ago, CD Projekt Red, that this year they're starting to develop 2 new games. Okay, and they apologized for how Cyberpunk 2077 came out, and they said they'll never do it like that, like marketing wise again. They're not going to let investors push them because of the reaction that they got. And that's good. Hopefully they hold their word to that. They're working on a new Cyberpunk game. And then they are also working on a new Witcher game, which they announced. So those are starting to be worked on this year. From what I was reading, the Cyberpunk multiplayer is either going to be severely delayed or canceled in general.
severely delayed would be preferred.
Yeah. I'm gonna put my money on it being canceled because once you have like a tainted name, like think of Anthem, it's hard for people to go. No matter how much you fix it, it's hard for people to go back and play it because of the reputation it has. So Cyberpunk 2077, it has that bad reputation, whether it's due or not. It's up for you personally to decide. But it's gonna be hard for people to go, oh, I want to play the Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer, even though it was buggy at launch and had all these issues and it's hated. So I'm leaning towards it being canceled and then working on this Witcher game and bringing back what they should
I I feel like if they release this multiplayer, the best way that they should go about it would be to release it for free, like free to play, and then if it's done correctly and if it plays well, it being free to play, you can add in
have. Microtransactions.
yeah, but not what's the word I'm looking for? Cosmetic only microtransactions. So you appease that crowd. Free to play, cosmetic only microtransactions, and then that's where you make your money. If it's a good multiplayer and people enjoy it, they will spend money on it. I mean, look at Fortnite, dog shit game. For some reason, people love it and they spend money on it constantly. It's doable. You just have to do it correctly.
Yep.
But I also wouldn't hate if they just canceled it entirely. Did Witcher, did the next Cyberpunk game, because if I get more Pan Am and honestly like River, I loved him. A little bit of Judy in there.
Judy was such a good
Delamain,
character. Oh my god.
Delamain or Judy was great. Judy
Yeah.
actually like I feel bad that I didn't do more side missions with her because like I did a few like scattered and then I did like her ending mission where she
Oh,
left.
okay. I was gonna say.
I feel bad that I didn't do more because there's more to do. I just didn't. Yeah, but like the Delamain cab service, fucking love that. And I feel like I made a bad choice with what I did because I've seen a lot of people like on YouTube post like where he's in the end, like you get Delamain in the end, but like in my playthrough, he was gone early for me. I guess spoilers. I chose to split all the different personalities when you're returning his cab, so I just got like the kid version in a car and kept it. He was gone otherwise, and I didn't like that. Like I thought that was kind of shitty. So I'd like to see more of him.
Right.
I mean, the Ripper Doc Vic, I think is his name.
Yeah.
And Misty, the two that are like the two you get to know really well. I would like to see more of them. Honestly, a lot of the characters in the game were pretty good. It would be nice to just get what we got, but more, bigger, better, badder, like that kind of stuff. More open world actually holds up, like having like actual AI cars in the streets when you're driving, so it actually like we get what was marketed. I would love to get that. More open world capabilities, like
Right.
buying places, like property, customizing it, all of it. I would love to get something like that.
What I
Right now, it seems like it's going to be a long time before we get something like
yeah.
that, but it would be nice to get it eventually.
Yeah, we'll see how the DLCs go. Because those are still slated to come out this year. And Witcher 3 is getting a next generation port. So it's gonna play better, look better, all that. So got to play the Witcher 3 again.
Are they gonna do anything like for the PC version? Like if we have it on Steam, will we get like an upgrade, like an update?
Yeah, they'll release like an enhanced version or whatever, next gen update.
Well, I wonder if they'll pay for it or
not. They've been pretty good about that. Like CD Projekt Red, like because if you bought Cyberpunk on Xbox One, you got the Series X one for free. So they've been pretty decent about that. What I'll say is like with Cyberpunk, it is still like one of the coolest worlds I've been in. Like Jared was saying, me and Jared got the same ending, and I think the ending we got where you ride off of Pan Am is the best ending that you can get. But what I will say is with those other endings, I don't feel like you would waste your time because you made those decisions. That's what's nice about CDPR games. Like, so for The Witcher 3, for example, when I was playing it for the first time, Cody restarted it, and because he never beat it, okay? And so I made my decisions, and I feel like I got the best ending. No one died, Ciri was alive, and Geralt and Triss went off, happily ever after, whatever. Cody, on the other hand, because of his decisions, he had everyone die. And so he was bummed that everyone died, but in the end, he's like, this was like my decision. And so I feel like complete with that. Yeah, it sucks everyone died. But I don't feel you'll ever feel like, oh, I just wasted 30 hours of my time. Because it's not the game's fault you made poor decisions. It's your fault,
Yeah.
right? With Cyberpunk, it's kind of the same thing. What I think this just proves in the end, I feel like for the past like 3-4 years, and I've like done this myself. People get like this way with certain game companies, and they like, oh, Bethesda can never do us wrong. They're so friendly to the consumer. They'll treat us like great, and then they release Fallout 76, right? And then you go to Rockstar, and people are like, Rockstar's the best company. They make the best games. They'll never treat us bad. And then you have the whole GTA Online thing, and then you have the whole not updating Red Dead 2 at all.
Or GTA 5 being re-released on every fucking console since
Yeah,
360.
God forbid. And then like CD Projekt Red was like hailed as like and I did it for them as well. Like, you know, they made The Witcher 3, my favorite game of all time, one of the greatest games of all time. And so I sat there and said, there's no way they could do anything bad to us. If they made such a beautiful game and this game is supposed to live up to the hype, they just can't mess it up. But they did.
Mhm.
So I think what this has taught a lot of people is no matter the prestige of a company for gaming, no matter what they do, at the end, they are always trying to fuck you. And they are always trying to just make as much money as possible. Now, the CD Projekt Red thing, I understand. The investors told them to release the game. Okay? That's a rough spot to be in. But you could also just still not release the game. With Rockstar, just update Red Dead 2, man. Like, how long do these people have to wait? It is
Yeah, they're
rough for
giving
those
little
people.
updates here and there because like I still play it and there's minor things here and there, but like they need to put the time and effort into it they put into GTA 5 for the love of God. It needs to happen. But yeah, you made a lot of good points about Cyberpunk and like you said, the world, it does feel nice, even though I feel like it's not as
It is
lived
dead.
in.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as lived in as I was promised, A, and hoped, B. It does feel good. There were many parts of the world I could still like picture a couple of them. I don't know how to get there, but I can picture a few of them that I like would like going to. And whenever I was driving through there, it felt good. Like it felt nice. It reminded me of like driving around GTA 4 and 5, like in the places that I liked. Um, and I will say, it even feels like I didn't explore everything. Like I felt like there
Right.
were so many waterways that I should have figured out how to get like near the waterfront, like down near the river or whatever. And like I felt like there's a lot there I didn't see. Pacifica, I felt like was just. I feel like the reason Pacifica is Pacifica is because they didn't finish the game there. I felt like there should have been so much more to do there, and it was all like blocked off. There were highway routes that I didn't know. First of all, didn't know existed. I accidentally, like in the last mission, no, was it was like right before the last mission or something? I was just driving and I was like, "Oh, what's this road going?" I took it and I was like, "This is a fucking highway. It goes around the entire fucking map." I didn't realize
Yep.
there's just so much that I didn't get to yet, and so I'm probably gonna play some more side missions, finish it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I need to play
Cyberpunk,
the game.
it's great, and it's sad that it ended or came out the way it did.
Right.
Hopefully, they do as good with the next games.
It is a
See-
phenomenal base for a great game. Like,
Yeah.
if you took everything Cyberpunk 2077 was and you just put 3 more years into that game, that could have been the greatest game we've ever played.
Oh yeah, greatest of all time
Um,
right there.
but they
But they
obviously
took a
over.
diamond plated a literal fucking gold diamond plate, whatever, and they put poop on top of it. And went, here you go.
Well, they took poop and gold plated it. Like that's what they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
So, like back to the point, like with how Cyberpunk is, like overall story is really good, even though it's short. The side missions, like, and they have a really good way of doing it. The writing gets you involved. The side missions are really good. The
It
world,
enhances the story.
right? The world is bare, but what I will say, like, I loved the game. So I love the Blade Runner cyberpunk-esque look. Neon lights, raining constantly. It's always nighttime. I love the way that looks. I know Cyberpunk has daytime and stuff like that, but when you go into the middle of the city in that game and it's nighttime and you see all the neon lights and everything, like that's like when I saw it for the first time, I was like, this is like one of the games I've always been waiting for. Like I've always waited for a Blade Runner game to come out eventually. And so that has always like kept me into that world of like, okay, I know I can get that from there. But the glitches, just I mean, the weapons feel weird, like they don't really have good animations. The cars are very unique, but the systems that are in the game just aren't really explained very well. Um,
No.
so what they should do with Cyberpunk 2, whatever they're making, just take everything you have now.
2078.
Yeah, put it into that game and just finish the game. But by the end of this year, Cyberpunk 2077 will probably be the game we were supposed to get. Because as they're patching it, they're adding more people into the world, they're adding more textures and animations. So like,
and you can see that. You can see
right.
if like playing from launch to like recently, you can see a small difference, like you said. Absolutely. I was gonna say with the weapons, like mentioning how they don't feel very well. Some of them don't feel well, like very good and all that. If I can English myself today, the few weapons that do feel good to me in that game is definitely the swords. I feel like the sword play in that game is fucking amazing. I feel like when I'm chopping people up with those, it's fucking great. And the sniper you get from Pan Am, that feels fucking awesome. But pretty much everything else I'm like very 50-50 on.
Right, yeah.
Some of the pistols are nice. I use the revolver, it's got like the Rupture or some shit, Rapture. And it looks cool, does a lot of damage, fires nice if you're fighting like one or two guys are doing stealth. But if you're in a big fight, fuck that thing, dog shit. Shotguns are okay, but like you go through ammo way too quick. The ARs aren't bad, but it doesn't do enough damage for the amount of ammo you're allowed to have. And I mean, we can talk about it all day long. I mean, like you said, it's a good foundation that just needs more work. All of it. It just it makes me sad because it could have been such a fun game, such a good game.
Well, there's our Cyberpunk talk.
Yeah.
Go play it if you haven't played it yet. Another game I've been it's funny, Death Stranding is like picking up in Steam. More people were playing it. Go play that fucking game. I just saw an article about it a few days ago. I got my coworker to start playing it. Literally, he came into work today, and he goes, "So I started playing Death Stranding last night," and I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "So when does it turn into like an actual game? I've watched nothing but cutscenes." I was like, "Yeah, I know, isn't it great?" And he goes, "It's fucking weird." He's like, "I have no idea what's going on." I was like, "Yeah, and you won't for like 30 more hours."
Yep, give it literally until you beat the game, and you'll go, "Oh,
I still have no idea what's going on." Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, we'll see you next week. Thank you for watching this week's episode. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you're on iTunes, leave a review. SoundCloud, follow us. Spotify, follow us. iHeartRadio, like us, follow us, whatever. And see you next time.
Bye, guys.